Smash Ultimate is no longer a party game. Or in this case, Smash Brothers is no longer a party game in terms of Ultimate. Now, let me go ahead and get this straight. Smash still has party stuff in it. I feel like I didn't have to do it that way, but let's break this down a little bit. Smash Ultimate in this game has party elements in it. However, currently in the current state of Smash Brothers, it is not a party game. Now, let me go ahead and explain a little bit like this, and I can go on for ages talking about every single aspect of why this is the least party-ish Smash game in the series. But let me go ahead and separate this a little bit, okay? I can go aboard with the modes that they feature. I can go aboard with the way that they're making the music. I can go aboard, weirdly enough, I can go aboard with the way that the stages are made. I can especially go with how the characters are done this time around. And it's, when you put these all together, it makes sense why we have a prominent competitive Smash community over any sense of casual play. Listen, custom game modes, custom mods of any kind, videos that you can make straight from the game are not the biggest thing that's presented, right? Like, you can even make legit memes off of the video editor, and that's not even prominent, and for good reason. This entire game, and everything that circulates around it, screams out competitive, and I think the competitive players will know this. It's just that Nintendo's really sucking in supporting that community. I think everybody can say that. You know, competitive players and casual players alike know that the most prominent community in the Smash Brothers scene is not even being treated well, despite the fact that that's where this game is actually leaning towards. So the characters this time around, compared to previous series, it's really good that all of them are here, and we're getting so much more through DLC and, just the ones that we already have now in this game. However, a lot of characters is a lot of characters, but what are the chances that all of these characters feel the way that they do? I know that the DLC characters feel a lot like themselves. However, we have to think about something, okay? Do these characters feel like something that they would be? Do they feel... For example, does Bowser feel like Bowser? Does Donkey Kong feel like Donkey Kong? I'm not even talking about references from past games, because if an entire character, if his entire moveset is based off of stuff that he has done in games before, then that doesn't create a character, that just creates a bunch of references based on a body. And that doesn't make the character. It's the tone and everything. That's what makes Hero. That's what makes Donkey Kong. That's what makes Bowser. Bowser doesn't come in with a friggin' pirate ship and just sends it down on the friggin' world or something like that. That's too blown out of proportion. But you know what I mean. And there's a lot of inclusions to this game that are very solely for the purpose of competitive play. And that includes jumping, weirdly enough. So in this game, or at least in previous games, many characters, especially the heavy ones, could jump after a certain time where they're just kind of staying there on the ground. So one person can jump instantly fast like that. But for example, Bowser back then, you had to wait doot 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 and then jump. I don't think that makes any sense, right? But if you guys know what I'm talking about, I don't remember the name of it. I don't even pay attention to competitive play, but I know that's a thing that's completely erased now. Everybody jumps instantly. It's as if they don't even friggin' weigh anything anymore. It's just do. That's just one thing. But many other things make it so that the characters feel a lot faster than they actually should be, which kind of adds into combos and whatnot. And the point is not, in this case, to have every character feel like they can pull off a really quick, fast combo. Aside from competitive play, you shouldn't feel like you can do that with certain characters. That's what makes it feel very weird, right? To play as a heavy character only to see that you can float around pretty quickly. That's just a really small opinion of mine. At the same time, though, I still think that that's one of the things that creates this nature that Smash Brothers, despite the stages and the items, is a solely competitive energy, right? In this time. Items are there, but at the same time, they're pretty much obsolete at this point. Competitive players are having a friggin' field day with the play that they're already competing with right now because their items are already just in the functionality of the character. They don't need jack squat to have fun with this game. And here's the thing. I could be pulling off more combos and having fun with that than using a freaking item. Because at the very least, or at least in this time around, right? Items don't feel as strong as what you can be capable of as a player. And that sounds pretty obvious, right? All across the board, but at the very least as a kid playing, I had a lot more fun using a beam sword in Brawl than I do now in Ultimate. Because it's like, I feel like I should be able to execute more with this sword alone, And it doesn't really feel like you're really doing that. Also, we have some pretty non-competitive items like the springs and fans completely taken out for no reason. And if it's for competitive reasons, then that's absolutely BS, because isn't this a party game? That's the thing. It's not just characters either, right? It's also stages. Stages, I guess, in this time around are solely either based on one gimmick or they're the closest that you can get to Battlefield or Final Destination. We have seen this with modern DLC stages aside from the Spring Stadium, and that's actually all I can genuinely think about. Every single stage is modeled to be the closest that they can to Battlefield and Final Destination, and it shows. Minecraft, I would have assumed that it would have just been like a huge deep plane that you can slowly like dig your way through or something like that, and you can't even. No, it's not that. It's just this one huge hill that still happens to have buildings everywhere, right? Or like some structures at the background. For example, Spring Stadium, a stage that in concept you would think would be just this entire friggin' layout that wouldn't really have borders like the King of Fighters Stadium. But no, it's this thing that's up in the air. Garagamak Monastery, which isn't really all that interesting to begin with. Granted, it's modeled after its game, so that I can give a pass. But in the North Caves recently with Sephiroth's DLC, nothing happens in this stage at all. I appreciate the story-filled background that's in the background of the stage, but what does that do in a party sense for the people who decide to play this game? Absolutely nothing. There's just two platforms. So that's my big problem, is that we're steering away from some of the more outrageous stages that truly make this game or the series what it is, right? There's always going to be that stage that you desperately do not want to play, but you're going to have a blast with friends. As uncomfortable as they are, let me make this straight. Pac Maze, actually that's a good one. Poke Floats, Rumble Falls, Orbital Gate Assault, Jungle Hijinks, Rainbow Road are a bunch of stages that can fit the character of what makes Smash Brothers a party game. However, that's not in there, in favor of a stage like Yoshi's Story, a stage that in concept is Battlefield, and with just a couple other miniature things here and there. Who in the world wants to make that stage memorable in the age of Ultimate? Like, you can only see that in a place like Melee, where you couldn't make any stage Battlefield or Final Destination. This stage is like the least memorable that you can get. Music sounds... Okay, don't get me wrong about the music. Music is friggin' amazing all across the board. However, there are some songs that feel like it's just friggin' freeform, free play, and that can be completely subjective, My only issue with that is taking songs that have nothing to do with the tone of their series and just friggin' going at it. Like Tomodachi Life, that's going like... Makes no sense. Makes completely no sense in my opinion. And there's a lot of songs that kind of feel like that feel awkward. I can go forever with, how the Mega Man songs feel like. You have at most 40 Mega Man songs, and yet you only have one Mega Man stage. Sounds like a lot of these songs can fit in a lot of stages all across the selection screen. Speaking of which, there's 103 stages, and you're telling me that there's no good way to organize these stages so that they're easier to look at? My God, this is such a debated thing. I'll have to show you a couple images from like a couple amino surveys that I've done over the years, that show, like, I asked a couple people, do you think that the character select screen or the stage select screen is perfect? And half of everybody said yeah. Half of everybody said no. And, you know, that half of people who said no also were like, hey, listen, not only do I want it sorted a certain way, but I also want to sort it the way that I want to. Why is it that you cannot sort these stages? Or why is it that they are just so hard to look at all at the same time? Why can I not have my Mario stages all in one place, my Zelda stages all in one place, my Fire Emblem stages all in one place, and all of the other stages in their own selected areas? That makes completely no sense on a casual perspective. Competitive-wise, it would make sense, because at the very least, you're directing from layouts that have evolved from game to game. But when you're talking about having a bunch of family and friends to come by, how in the world are they supposed to understand that Smash 64, Melee, Brawl, 4, and Ultimate have their own respective stages, and this is how they're laid out? How in the hell are they going to find... how in the heck are they going to find Mario Kart and friggin' like the 8 circuit from Mario Kart 8? You would assume that they would all be together, but no, it's not. And it's also weird that they have like friggin' random battlefield, random Final Destination when they can't. You can just switch that with the flick of a button, or at least I think you could have. Whatever, it's all right. Oh my god. Classic modes, spirit modes. None of these modes feel party at all. If anything, spirit mode is a mixed bag, because there's only a chance that you're going to get to play like a really crazy, zany spirit battle. And the thing is, like, one person dies and that's it, dude. Like, you cannot do like friggin' raid battles where people die one by one and it feels that like it has that RPG aesthetic where you're helping each other out and stuff. You have to make that mode yourself. And spirits can't even be played online. That's a whole other thing that I just freaking hate. You know, in the World of Light, let's be honest here, it's a mode that friggin' literally takes the soul out of anybody who's played Brawl and has played Subspace Emissary as a kid. We need games like that, you know? We need to bring back something that's more platform-esque, that spins it up drastically. Because we are so safe with the modes that we already have that trying to get people who have no idea what Smash is into these modes is like getting... It's like getting someone into Street Fighter across Tekken. Actually, don't listen to me on that, okay? Don't listen to me. But you know what I mean, right? I hope you do. The accessibility of this game is very abundant, but it leaves so much to be desired. I can talk forever and ever about how I appreciate the idea of stage morph, the idea of borders for teammates, the idea of having that little thing that shows when someone's like far away and someone's not far away from the stage. I can appreciate many things like that, you know? Echo Fighters to condense the stage select a little bit more. But at the same time, we are restricted so much too, to the point where we have to work with what we got. And, you know, I can make a list of the many things that for some reason are just not in this game. For example, this whole sorting option with this character select screen, playing music in any stage that you want. Those are just a couple accessibility options, like playing classic mode in the random sense, that we can play in that way, because a lot of classic mode routes I've heard are not consistent. So, you know, people would love to play those in a random settings. That way they can get better at that. But a lot of the ways you could have to play, and heck, even spirits, dude, like spirit battles and spirits in general they don't feel like party aspects at all. They feel competitive as heck. For example, if you want to be giant, you can only be giant for like 6 seconds. If you want to be metal, you can only be metal for 6 seconds. Why can't we just have a spirit that lets someone be metal all of the time? We can make a mode just solely based off of that. That could be a really cool way to make spirits and, you know, a worthy feature in this game. However, we're not breaking any boundaries. And that's what makes this not fun in that sense. I'm still playing Smash Bros. Because I'm trying to dig out the most I can out of this experience, but not everyone's going to be that. In fact, I know people that only touch Smash Bros. A couple times and then they're just completely overwhelmed by what's out there, and they just stop. They just completely friggin' finito. Nothing. Now, what else can I stop? Oh, and now let's talk about Mii Fighters, which I want to finally talk about this. Mii Fighters have no color customization for 70% of their outfits. And that bothers me when you have an option to change colors for your characters. Every single Fighters Pass that came in featured a set of Mii costumes in which only one, like friggin' literally only one, which is the Bomberman outfit, has colors to them. I cannot tell you, if this is a party game, then why should it not matter that we are not allowed to color customize our characters? And why aren't Mii Fighters prioritized in a way that makes them feel like it makes sense to be them? That aren't just characters that are featured in costumes. Does that make any sense? If we are going to make the Miis completely worthless, and we're just going to have them as placeholders for characters that didn't make it in the cut, then what is the point of calling this a party game if you can't customize those character parts? Like, and you can't even customize, you know what would be a really nice idea? If you can customize the elemental stuff with like the attacks that you customize it with. And also, can I not have just the Japanese voices? I want to have a freaking cowboy sound for my Mii character. That's casual talk. Like, that's stuff that you can talk casually. And the fact that nobody's talking about that makes sense, because there's no improvement on that. Stage Builder has little to no improvements since the time it was first conceived in Ultimate. Movie makers have not been edited or changed or upgraded since its creation in Ultimate. There is literally nothing that Nintendo has expanded upon, or the Smash team has expanded upon, to make these things shine. And that's going to be an issue when it comes to stating this game as a party game in the future, because in retrospect, it won't be. We'll have the prominent fighting game community respecting this whole thing, and you're just going to have a lot of people be confused the whole time when it comes to a casual perspective. I know people who constantly have a hard time knowing where they are when playing this game. You know it, I know it, the whole freaking world knows it, but we don't say jack squat. For some reason. It just kills me, man. Like, Smash Brothers is no longer a party game. And if you still think that, I don't want to call you anything. Actually, you know, it makes sense. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for calling it a party game, because it's a facade at this point. We're given a party game where Squad Strike is one of the main features of the party mode. Get out of here. Get out of here. Come on. You're crazy. Classic mode isn't even randomized. You can't do a boss rush with more than just Sephiroth. And like what's the point, man? Where's the freaking Smash Run? That's like the most party thing out there. I would love an expansion to have Smash Run as like an extra thing that you can download separate from the game, and just kind of transfer your character data over to that thing and just play it from there on. That would be awesome. But it's the Nintendo condition, I suppose, and we're all affected by it. Especially in quarantine, where all of the online sucks, and we are forced to keep ourselves continuously isolated with the games that we play. I am currently playing Final Fantasy VII by myself, with no other multiplayer games that currently interest me aside from Overcooked 2, because I am turning into a loner, and so are you. That's my rant. That's my rant. I'm done. I'm done. I'm completely done. What do you think? What do you think of this video? Share it. If you think this is a prominent thing, go ahead and share this video. Share it to anyone. Share it to friggin' someone who you think is a complete simp for Smash Brothers and Nintendo. Let the friggin' brawl come in through these comments. I want to see people roar completely, because I feed from that. I feed from that conversation. We need this discussion about Smash Brothers that is probably never going to be opened up by anybody, because nobody says a jerk thing. Sorry, I'm going over my head here. Anyways, if you like this video, and if you agree with what I have to say, if you don't agree with what I have to say, but you still like the video, you like this little talk going forward, go ahead and hit that like, dude. If you like this whole discussion thing where I talk about Nintendo videos, I urge you to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of this stuff, as time goes forward. And, if you're cool, then you're really cool, I want to get to know you more through the comments and everything. Yeah, no, dude, this needs to change. And where's my Tomodachi life, Nintendo? Where's my Tomodachi life? I'm watching you, Nintendo. I'm watching you.